Hi everybody, I'm Herrick Kimball. Welcome to another episode of This Agrarian Life. Today I'm going to show you how I template plant garlic here in my mini beds on plastic experimental garden. This is the first year of my experimental garden, but it will be the second time that I've planted garlic because last fall when I laid out the plastic and the beds, I planted the garlic. That's when you plant garlic, in the fall. Here in upstate New York, we plant in October. The target date is Columbus Day. I believe that's the 9th or 10th. Today, though, is the 18th. Not a big crisis. I've planted even later. So, first, I'm going to take my garlic bulbs that I harvested earlier. I have a video episode that shows how I harvested, or when I harvested these, how I hung them up, and how I cleaned them off. So I have kept some of the garlic I grew to use. And then the best looking bulbs, the nicest form and shape, I have selected out for replanting. Also, the largest or medium largest bulbs. You don't use the smallest bulbs for replanting, you use the larger bulbs, larger cloves. So to separate the cloves from the bulbs, it's just a simple matter of pushing the fingernail into between the cloves and breaking the paper like so, and then you just break the cloves away. There's 2 cloves. There's 2 more in here. This particular garlic had only 4 cloves. They're big cloves. This is a German white, and this is typical to have a few really large cloves instead of lots of little cloves. Okay, so now we'll go to the mini bed and I'll show you how I template plant these garlics here in October. Okay, here we are at the mini bed that I'm going to plant garlic into today. I'm actually going to plant many mini beds to garlic because it worked out so well last year. And this mini bed has been forked, the soil cracked, not lifted and turned, but cracked, as I showed in a previous video here on YouTube, and as I explained in my mini beds on plastic report number 1. The soil is cracked, not turned, not tilled, just cracked. Then I used a short-handled hoe. This is made by Leo Sprauer, and I shallow cultivated the soil. For planting garlic, it's nice to have a loose soil. I waited until the rains came a few days ago. They helped to loosen up this soil also. It's a beautiful soil to plant in. So now what I do is I template plant using this template. It's a 13 spot, 13 position template. This idea is derived from an idea that I put in my book, the Planet Whiz Bang Idea Book for Gardeners. I talk about template planting garlic in beds and longer beds, and this is just a progression of that idea. I don't need a template to plant, but I do like to space things out. It only took a few minutes to make the template. I lost the one I made last fall when I used the same spacing, and it worked out so well. So I will use this template today and hang it up in my shed, and hopefully I'll have it for next fall. This also works for other crops in the mini beds, this particular spacing. So the idea with the template is that every spot is laid out, and you could take your finger and make a little divot, and in fact that's probably the best approach to do since we're dealing with a small bed. Okay, the other option is you could sprinkle a little flour onto each space so that when you remove the template you'll see the spot. But this works very well. Just put your finger in and divot it out. Okay, and remove the template. Yeah, you can see all the spots there. And now it's time to plant. The way I plant is that I grasp this, all this paper on the outside doesn't have to come off. That can stay right there. But you can see it has a pointy end and a flat end. The flat end is the root end, and that's the end you want to go down. And you can, I like to plant these by, it's a kind of triangular, the shape. I put a finger on each side of the triangle and put my thumb on the other, and then just plunge this down to the knuckles in my hand. Right there, I'm pushing that flat root end of the clove firmly against some soil down there. And you know, it's that simple. That's how I do it. I'll do another one here, just pushing down, making sure that it's down this far. This far. That's 1, 2, 3. It's about 4 inches. Look at this grub. He's got a lot of nerve coming over into my garden bed. Push down. And, you know, that's it. Get one in every spot. If the soil is hard there, I kind of dig it away a little, then firm it down into the, you want that flat end, that root end, to be in good contact with the soil. All right, so I'm planting the mini bed to garlic. And here again, I feel like it's a little hard there, so I've used the tip of my fingers to get a little soil out of the way and get that down that distance. Everyone's planted about the same depth, which is ideal. This bed, this one here, I had even harder soil, but I've got it down there where it goes. Yeah. 13 spots is a nice spacing. And yeah, the finger, you see my fingers are all dirty. You can kind of dig with your finger down a little bit if that's not going as far as needed. It's kind of intuitive. Okay. And I have planted garlic in October when it was frosty, cold, very cold, and my fingers froze. So it's better to do this before it gets frosty cold. Okay, so there I've got 13 garlic cloves planted. The mini bed is planted. I'll just push the soil over the top like so. Farm it down a little. It's good to get your hands in the soil. It's really good. All right, planted. Now I will cover this at a later date before the heavy snows and cold of winter come here. I'll cover this with some shredded leaves. Oh, maybe that much, 2-3 inches. And those will stay right there as a mulch. In the spring, the garlic will come up through that mulch, and I won't have any weeding to do. Basically, this is all the work that's needed until harvest next year, next summer. And in the time that we have here before it gets really cold, these garlic cloves are going to put down roots. They're going to put out roots. They might put some top growth up. If they do, that's okay. But mostly the concept, the idea, the desired outcome here is for those cloves to put down some good roots before the cold weather comes. All right, everybody, that's the story on planting garlic in mini beds. Thanks for watching.